Hi, Grillman's Garage. Yeah, you saw by the thumbnail. What's wrong with the Atom 2 from Potensic, right? Absolutely nothing. It's phenomenal. 4K, 30 frames per second, night mode. Oh my goodness, the controller. It's got all the controls in the world you want. You know, absolutely amazing. 8K photos. Oh my God, half hour, 35-minute flight time. It's incredible. What a hold the horses, hold everything. What a bunch of infomercial blah blah. What's wrong with the Potensic Atom 2? That's why we're here, because everybody says what's right with it. Well, there's got to be something that people don't like about it, and there are, but nobody talks about it. That's what we're going to do now. Okay? Here we go. Okay, we're discussing the Potensic Atom 2 and if it has any issues that have not been resolved and most likely will not get resolved. Well, the Atom 2 has been out since April, and we're now into July. Okay? The promises that were made way back when it was released still haven't been addressed. Okay? It still only performs in adequacy like the old Mavic Mini. Okay? A little bit better, maybe, okay, the DJI Mini 2 SE or something like that, okay? It does have a half-inch sensor, which is good, but they've crippled it. 4K 30, in today's day, you need a 60 frames per second somewhere, and it doesn't have that until you go to 1080p. Something's not right there. So it's hampered in that respect. The other respect is you have no camera adjustments. Not in photo, not in video. You have EV values and white balance. That's it. No shutter, no speeds, no sharpness, no contrast, no blah blah, none of that stuff. Nope. What it is what it is. Okay? That's nothing. No camera adjustments really. Okay? Also, there's no waypoint mission planner, which was promised originally back in April and May. Now we're into July. Nothing's coming yet. They said, oh, well, maybe by the mid to three-quarter line of the year, you might get it. But I'm wondering if it's going to be the same as what's on the Atom 1, the original one, which is kind of useless. It's a point-and-fly system. So there you go. Okay. What else is there? Randomly, 7 times out of 10, I start it up. I get this message: failure to log in. You're failed to log in, or it failed, or something happened. You got to log in again, and all this kind of stuff. I don't get it. Okay. So, and that's the same problem that was with the original Atom. Okay. So what did they change? They had an update. They had an app update to 2.5.4 from 2.5.0. What did it change? Look at this. Fixed known issues. I was all excited because it was an app update. I thought, oh, for sure, we're going to get 4K 60, 2.7K 60. We're going to get waypoint missions. We're going to get adjustments for ISOs. Nothing. I have no idea what it did. Absolutely nothing. Okay? So yeah, there are a few issues, and they're a pain in the butt. And I did take it out the other day, and I'll show you a little clip here of this here. The top one is from the X8 Fimi Telly. The bottom one is the Atom 2. Just a short clip when I went out and back, okay? And what I've noticed is, and even with more so, it was a longer video, so but I don't want to bore you with a big long video. I noticed that the Atom is a little softer in the coloring than natural. Fimi's a little more on point, okay, but it still has this issue. It might be a little bit over sharpened sometimes, and in some cases it's really hard to tell, but I would say overall the Atom is a little soft, okay, and the coloring is a little off as well, okay, compared to a DJI or something else. But the Fimi half-inch on the Telly does a reasonable job. The half-inch on the Telly, the Fimi Telly, is a better profile than what's on the Mini 3 from Fimi. There you go. But we're talking about the Atom from Potensic. Great company, great box, great packaging, great construction. It's a little brittle on the plastic, like what I discussed very, very early in my very first rendition. Have a look at it up here. And there you go. If it gets really, really cold and you hit something, chances are something's going to break. But in most cases, most people won't be flying near objects. That's why it doesn't have obstacle avoidance, which is another gimmicky thing anyway. The quick shots in this and the AI aren't too bad. They sometimes lose their subject, and sometimes they don't always follow the right way, and sometimes if you're doing an orbit, it's more like an egg shape rather than a circle. So they've got some work on that stuff to do, okay? It's not opened, the SDK stuff is not open to third parties, so you can't get people like Maven or Lychee or Rainbow to come in and fine-tune anything like they do with the DJI products, okay? And it's still more money than a DJI product, okay? Look at these bugs. We're in the middle of the jungle here. There you go. So overall, are there, my goodness, come on, flies. And then dogs don't mind about them, no? So in the end, what about the Potensic Atom 2? Great flyer, hovers beautifully, has really good, maybe I should have put my 8.5 or my deep something or my off or something on before I came out. Anyway, yeah, the Atom 2, great little flyer, range is acceptable, okay? It does return to home very well. The automated sequences, they do work, but they're kind of gimmicky. You know, you do a few of the dronies and a few of this, that, and the other, and the you know, it's okay, but it's you use them once or twice, and that's about it. Really, you're buying a video drone to go out and explore and have a look, take some shots, and come back. Okay, you're not really going to do the follow me that much unless that's all you're into, which is mainly selfies and stuff. So I don't know if you're going to use that a lot. I might have try with that with some boats I have. Maybe it'll do that down the pond. Maybe it'll follow a boat around. As long as you don't go too fast. Don't go too fast. Anyway, that's about it. So yeah, there are some issues with the Potensic Atom 2 that aren't really discussed anywhere. And these are the issues I found. They spent tons of time revamping that controller, that big mammoth controller, but what do? You're flying a drone, not this Battlestar Galactica. Come on, the thing is massive. Some things, I don't know what where their R&D is coming from or whatever, but there's no need for that massive controller for that little tiny drone. Okay, there's all kinds of other ways. I would have rather have seen them invest their money in an all-in-one monitoring system like DJI did with the DJI RC and like the TX10 from Fimi, because that's the way of the future, because nobody wants to put their $1,000 phone just to fly a drone, you know, and if you're not careful, it'll fall out and break. And the all-in-one system, I love that. I love that on my DJI, and I love that on the Fimi. It's really incredible, and that's what they should have spent all the money on. You know, just slap a half-inch sensor on and give me an all-in-one monitor. That would have been great, and leave it just the way it was. Okay, but that's just me. I find the nitty-gritties of things that people don't talk about, and I kind of dig a little deeper. And yeah, I'm going to ship this off to Potensic and say, listen, there are some issues. Fix them. Okay, you can buy something better for cheaper. Go for it. Anyway, I've rabbled long enough. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, buy me a coffee, or buy one of my drones. There you go. See you later.